Good morning, friends. This is Durga from IT University. As you guys are aware, this is backup for my live audience. So, in case if I could not answer your questions, bear with us because this session is primarily for my live audience who joined through WebEx. Just give me a moment.
Building a website is kind of like painting a masterpiece, except it's
Okay, just checking that it is streaming to YouTube without any issues. So, that being said, let's get started. Uh, we are talking about this course, Spark using Scala. And we are actually talking about transformations and actions. We have covered row-level transformations such as map, flat map, filter, aggregations such as reduce by key, aggregate by key, joins, and also we have covered set operations. And finally, we also start with sort by key, and now we will actually talk about group by key. In my view, group by key is a very important and very powerful transformation. And you can perform whatever operation you want by key using group by key. It could be aggregations, it could be sorting, it could be ranking within the key. Okay, so now let's get started talking about the syntax and all those things, and also we will actually see the appropriate use case as well. So again, to actually understand group by key, you need to be well versed with Scala collections. If you are not familiar with Scala collections, you will struggle a bit, especially while using groupByKey. Okay, so let's recollect a bit on Scala collections. I will not take a very long time, but yeah, I will just spend around 5 to 10 minutes on Scala collections, and then we will understand the relationship between groupByKey and Scala collections. I have launched Scala here. And as you guys are aware, Scala collections are under this package called scala.collections. I think scala.collection. And these are the traits and some of the classes which are exposed here. And out of these, I have already covered that at a high level. There is a traversable trait of interface which provide default behavior for many things. Okay, for example, if I say val t traversable of int, it's a trait, so I will not be able to assign a traversable object to it, but I can definitely create a list and then assign it to traversable. And then if I hit t dot, and you can see there are all these operations which are available on the traversable object. Okay, so one of them is map, which we have seen. There is reduce. There is reduce. Yeah, there is reduce. And also, if you want to get the sum, you can just say sum, and it will give the sum. So traversable is the higher level trait in the hierarchy. As it is parent, you can assign any child object to it. That's why I'm able to assign a list to traversable. After traversable, we have iterable. Iterable provide you the ability to traverse through the elements. Okay, or iterate through the elements. Iterator actually have the functionality for each. Okay, and then you have three main traits. One is sequence, SEQ. So if you go here, and if you see, this is one of the child traits for iterable, and the other one is set, and the other one is map. So these three are the things. The main difference between sequence and set is sequence have both length and size and index. So anytime you can get the number of elements in the sequence, and also you can actually access the objects using index. Okay, whereas set You will not have a length or index because set will eliminate the duplicates. So the length and index are not well defined with respect to set. Map is nothing but a collection of key value pairs where keys are unique and there will be corresponding values for each of the keys. So this is the main difference between sequence, set, and map. And again, within the sequence, you have linear sequence and indexed sequence. So list, linked list, all those things will come under linear sequence. Vector array comes under indexed sequence. Okay, so this is the high level overview about these things. The reason why you need to understand is, now I'm going to the lab. So those who are joining to WebEx, try to use gw02.itversity.com to connect to the lab and try to connect. It is a lot more stable than gw01.itversity.com. We will fix the issues on gw01.itversity.com also. It is frequently running out of memory issues. We already identified few issues, and the probability have gone down significantly. But we will try to improvise on it, and soon all the issues on gw01.itversity.com also will be gone. That being said, I'm launching Spark Shell here. And while learning, you should be very comfortable with. Okay. Actually, we added a Spark yesterday by deleting the earlier Spark because we want to address that out of memory issues, and we want to move Spark history server from gw01.itversity.com to some other server. That's the reason why you are seeing all these logs. I will disable soon. You will not see all these logs, and the information which will be printed will be concise and relevant to what we are trying to do. That being said, with Spark Shell, you should be very comfortable using sc.parallel. It will help you in exploring the concepts. Okay, so first let us create a list of tuples. Okay, and here, yeah, here I'm saying 1 comma hello, and then 1 comma world, and then 2 comma how, 2 comma half, 3 comma q, 4 comma doing. Okay, we have created the list of tuples. If I say val r equal to sc dot parallelize of L, now L will be RDD. I mean, R will be RDD, which is nothing but a distributed collection. The difference between L and R is L is a linear in-memory collection, which will be part of the driver program JVM. In this case, the Spark shell. Okay, Pramod, I will wait for a moment. Yeah, I will wait for a moment, Bala. Okay, so now it is back. So the difference between L and R is L is this linear memory structure, which will have the all these elements in the driver program in this case. So where is the driver program? It's on gw01.itversity.com. R is RDD, which is a distributed collection. So depending upon the size, it might distribute on one worker node or multiple worker nodes. By default, there will be 2 executors. If it is big enough, at least it will be divided into 2 partitions. So the difference between L and R is L is a linear collection, linear Scala collection, which will be part of the driver program. R is RDD, which is distributed on multiple nodes in the cluster, which is most likely will be distributed on multiple nodes in the cluster. Now, R is already in the key value pairs. You can use any by key operation. For example, if you want to perform, let's say reduce by key might not be appropriate API in this case. Okay, we can actually use reduce by key. Okay, and here we will be having a toddler and element both of that type is of type string. So in this case, I'm just concatenating each of these strings separated by space. Okay, so what I'm saying is total plus CLE. Okay, and then I can say collect dot for each println. Now you can see with one it say hello world, with two it say R how, with three it is you, and four doing. So it just concatenated those elements and printed. Okay. Now if I want to use group by key on the same thing. Okay, this is not the aggregation operation. You should not do any of. You hardly will do any of these kind of activities. Such as concatenating two strings as part of the aggregation operation, which means using reduce by key or aggregate by key. But I just want to give you an example how you can actually use the RDD which you have created using parallel, and you can perform whatever operation you want. So this is the code snippet, Pramod. Let me paste it. Okay. If you want, you can also use history command to get the details so that you understand what you have done. First, I have created the list. Then I have created RDD using sc.parallel. Then I have used reduce by key. Now, if I say val g equal to r dot group by key. Okay, group by key does not take any parameters. You just have to say like this. Okay, it seems to be struck. Let's wait for a moment. Is it fine now? Can you guys see? Okay. So now, yeah. Now you see the output type is of type RDD, but each element is of type integer and iterable. Okay. So now if you want to print r dot collect dot for each println, you can see, sorry, not r, but g dot, yeah, g dot collect. You can see for each key there is only one entry, and value is nothing but a collection. Compact buffer, I think, is an implicit collection. I think it compresses the data. That's why it is saying compact buffer. Okay. Now using this, you can do whatever you want. It's just if you look at the data type of G, it's RDD and each element is of type integer and iterable. So iterable is child of traversable. So you can actually convert it into any collection in the hierarchy. Okay, you can convert. Traversable have a API such as toList, toSet, toMap, etc. And depending upon your requirement, you can change it to a list, you can change it to a set, you can change it to a map, whatever you want. And then you can perform whatever operation you want using Scala collections APIs. Okay, that is about group by key. Now let us say I want to just sort this data in a ascending order within each key. Okay, I can use sort by key, but sort by key will always do global sorting only. But in this case, I'm not very curious about global sorting. That is not important for me. I just want to sort within the key. Okay, so with one, I have to get hello world. With two, I have to get R and how. No, I think how and R. With three, it will be you only. With four, it will be doing only. So whatever order it is displayed here, I just want how to get the data like that only, because they are already in the appropriate alphabetic sorting order. Okay. So now, how to do that? So the way you have to do is you can use group by sorry, G is already grouped one, so I can use G. Once you use G dot, once you group by, either you have to use map or flat map depending upon your requirement. So when to use map? For each input record, if you just want to get one output record, you can use map. For example, for whatever reason, I just want to get the size of these things after grouping by key. Then you can actually use the map function. But if you want to get multiple records for each input record, then I have to use flat map. In this case, I want to sort by values once grouped by the key, and I want to get all the records flattened. Hence, I have to use flat map. So I have to say flat map here. Okay. And when we use flat map, whatever is the element type, we have to consider that and process further. So again, flat map takes a function, and that function accepts one parameter and returns one value. It could be of any type. The value can be of any type, but the parameter is of type this tuple. Okay, so here I have to create a variable, any variable. Let's say name it as rec, and the data type of rec is tuple. Okay, int and iterable of string. Okay, and then what I want to do is for each input record, I want to print key and value in the sorting order within that key. That is my output. That is my desired output. So what I want to do is I want to print rec dot underscore one, which is nothing but the key, and then rec dot underscore two is nothing but iterable. Okay. So I want to convert it into list first, so that I can apply the sort operations like sorted, sort by, sort with. I have shown the example when I actually covered the Scala part. So let's go back and review that for a moment, so that you have it for your reference. So learn Scala for Spark, and here if you go to collections and tuples, we have this is the one, Scala collections operations. Okay. And as part of the Scala collections operations, I have extensively covered how to sort data using sort by, sort with, and also sorted. Okay. To use sorted, you have to have implicit ordering implemented on the data type. In this case, our iterable is our data type of each element in this list is string. String, I think, have implicit ordering. Let's try sorted here. If sorted does not work, then we have to think about alternative. So here I'm using an API called sorted to sort the data within the list, and that list comes for each record. Okay, and then close these brackets, select for each println, and hit enter. Sort is not the member of that one. So first, let me just try to convert into to list. Oh. So rec dot underscore one. Okay, let me see. I think I might be missing something here. Okay, I think I will not be able to use sorted. I think, okay, let me. Yeah. So the mistake I have done is I am returning the tuple. I think I will not be able to return the tuple. So that's why the issue. So I can say rec dot underscore toolist dot sorted, and then here if you have to return both key and value, there is another way which you have to use. I will demonstrate very soon. Okay, Piyush, I will wait for a moment. Yeah, I'm waiting. It's okay. Okay, I hope it is back now. Yeah. So this is the one which I have used. So I just flattened out the elements in the array. If I want to return both key and value, I need to first create a collection and I have to return that collection. I cannot directly return using flat map. We will see that example in a moment. Okay. So this is how you can actually get the data sorted within the key. This is one example, but we will see a bit complicated example as part of the next topic, which is group by key, another example. Okay. So the example is we will try to compute top and priced products. So first let us use the data of product on lab. It is in this location. The data set. So we'll be using the same that data set. Okay. And then I'm trying to read the products table from that path. Okay, and you can actually preview the data. Take off 10 for each. Print ln. If you go to the data model and see, this is nothing but product ID, which is primary key. This is nothing but product category ID. Okay, this is nothing but product name, and there is some empty field here, and then this is product price, and then the I think it's the product catalog details, product details, the image and all. Okay, so this is the this is the sample data. Okay, now if I want to get top 5 products within each category, that is the problem statement. What is the product category? So the second element is the product category. So within 2, I want to get top 5 priced products. Similarly, for all product categories, I want to get top 5 products. That is by price. That is my problem statement. It is the classic example of ranking. Okay. So first uh, uh, we have to create the group by. So let me copy paste this code and I will explain. So here there is one junk record in the data set. Okay, where the product price is null. That is due to some comma in the name of the product. Okay, because there is a comma in the name of the product, this empty field came in the product price for one of the record. So that will cause some issues. So I have applied the filter to filter that out. Okay, that is the purpose of the filter, where I am saying after splitting the product, each record, the fifth element, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If this is null, I don't want to worry about those things. So that's why I have used the filter. And then I have applied map function to get the key. What is the key? The key is product category ID. P of 1 means the second element. So if you see, P is nothing but an array of string for each record. Product.split comma. So I have splitted by comma. So P is of type array, and P of 1 is the second element, which is product category ID. And the product is the entire record. So I want to get all the details of top 5 products within each category. I just don't want to get the product price details. I want to get the entire details. Okay, so that's why I'm actually capturing the entire record here. And then applied group by key. Okay, and if you copy this and then take off 10 dot for each println, it seems it's stuck again. So let's wait for a moment. Yeah, we have realized that. So you should see products group by key dot take off 10 dot for each println if everything is good. Is it back? Yeah. So now you see. So this entire stuff is one record from here to here. Okay, and it's a tuple. The first element is nothing but product category ID. Not back. Okay. Let's wait for a moment. It seems it's stuck again. I think it is back now. Can you see? So this one is product category ID, and this one, this is the records for that product category ID, which is converted into a list. There are a number of them within each category. Now I want to get only top 5 products. Okay, so I'm showing the code again. Products group by category dot take off 10, and this is the result. Okay, now I want to get the again stuff. Oh my god, what's happening? So let me see the bandwidth. Today it is worse. I think it is due to the weather. Good. I don't know why WebEx is. I think it is unstable. At times it is good, but it is unstable. Are you guys able to see now? People who are online, can you guys see my screen? Okay. Okay. So here you can see the list of the means the top the 10 records with the list of with category ID as the key and the elements as the value. From this, I want to get the top 5 records. Okay. How to get the top 5 records? Let me create a function first. Def get top and products. So that is the function name. Okay. And I want to pass a parameter. In this case, we have to give the data type of the parameter. And the parameter type is whatever we are passing as input to this flat map. Each element type. What is the each element type? It is of type tuple, which is nothing but integer for product category ID and iterable of string. That is the that is the data type of your parameter. Okay, and then return type. Okay, in this case, when I return, I want to return only the. I think let me just make sure what will be the return type. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, return type. Let us. Will it be iterable of string? Yeah. Return type will be iterable of string. So we will fix it if it does not work. That is the return type. And then here I will be providing the definition of the function. Okay. So rec dot underscore 2 will get the iterable. Okay. And then I want to convert it into list so that I can apply the sorted function. So dot sorted, that will be sorted in, sorry. So actually in this case, I want to get top 10 priced products by price. So I have to sort the data by price. Hence I have to use sort by function here. I cannot use sorted. Probably I might be able to use sort with, either sort by or sort with. You will not be able to use sorted. Sort by is the straightforward way of doing it. So here I'm using sort by. Okay. And here I have to provide the functionality how I want to sort the data. So K is nothing but individual record within the collection. Within this list, individual record. So I want to split by, comma, and then 4, which will give me the price. I have to typecast. If I don't typecast, here you will have a functionality issues. Okay. And also, I have to negate this. We can also say there is a way to use ordering and sort the data in descending order, but this is straightforward way because we are dealing with numerals. Okay. So now the data will be sorted in descending order. Once the data is sorted in descending order, what I have to do, I have to apply the take function. Take function is available on regular Scala collections also. Okay. And let's say for now, I want to get the 5 records. Okay. And hit enter. Okay. Now this will give the subset of these, for each iteration, it will give the subset of all the products within the category, which fall under top 5 prices. Okay. Now I can use, okay, it is again frozen. Meanwhile, I will write the code and then I will explain. So I am saying flat map here. Don't worry, I will explain. I am just typing the code back in place. Here, I want to invoke top n products. Okay, is it back, or do you guys still have the issue? Okay, I think it might hung. Okay, it seems to be back. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen. So this is how I can invoke. Okay, so if you see, the function which we are trying to invoke is actually returning the collection. As it is returning the collection, I can use flat map to flatten out the data. Okay, now I can say take off 100 for each println and hit enter. Now you see for 38, these are the top 5 products. Okay, so let me go to the history. Let me copy paste the function here. So that is the function. Okay, and this is the invocation of the function and also validating the results. Okay, you can, so for almost all the other problems, there are alternatives. But when it comes to ranking, you have to use groupByKey only. Other than groupByKey, especially if it is ranking within the department, within a key which is group, you have to use groupByKey only. There is no alternative for it. As part of the groupByKey, you have to be skillful enough to use the Scala collections to get your desired output. Okay. So is it clear? so this is the example for groupByKey. I will give a bit complex example as exercise to you guys. So as of now, this actually covers the sparse ranking. Okay, which means if I want to get top 5 priced products, it has given for 38. You can see 599, 499, 449, 449, 399, 399. It is called a sparse ranking because it only returns 5 records. Even if there are 100 records with 599.99, it will only record 5 records randomly. Every time it might change. So for these scenarios, sparse ranking is not good enough. You have to use dense ranking. When I said dense ranking, if there are more than 5 records in the range of top 5 priced products, you have to get all the top 5 priced products. If there are 100, you have to get 100. That is the functionality of the dense ranking. So I will leave it as an exercise so that you get good handle about Spark APIs using groupByKey and also using Scala collections within it. Okay, it is very, very important. So make sure you practice and try to get the appropriate logic using groupByKey and Scala collections to get the dense ranking. When I say dense ranking, if I instead of getting top 5 products by price, I want to get top 5 priced products. There can be more than 5 products which fall under top 5 priced products. Okay, I want to get all of them. Clear? I will add that exercise, add that as an exercise today itself. After this, you take your time. You don't need to do it by tomorrow. It will take a good amount of time to come up with the logic, and you get it done. I think I, I already have the logic here. Try to create a function and try to get it. Okay, instead of directly invoking like this, you can actually create a function and try to invoke the function. I will also come up with a few exercises on our elections dataset where you will be using groupByKey and then perform the same operations. Whatever you have done earlier, you will be doing the same thing, but this time you will be treating the dataset as RDD rather than a Scala collection, and then use the combination of Spark APIs and Scala collection APIs only when it is required to use Scala collection APIs. I will create a set of exercises using the same dataset. Okay, is groupByKey clear to you? GroupByKey itself is very straightforward. There is nothing complex with respect to groupByKey. Once you group it, how you deal with it is the more important thing. Okay. For each record after grouping, if you want to get one output record, you have to use map function. For each input record, if you want to get more than one record by flattening the results based on the elements in the value, which is iterable, you have to use flat map. And as part of map or flat map, you have to implement the necessary logic using Scala collections API. Okay, so now we will get into the very important thing, developing end-to-end application. We will use word count itself because I have enough data set to cover how it behave. Hence, I am using word count. You can implement the same same development and execution lifecycle with any use case. You don't need to perform only with word count. But as word count is very generic and very simple example, I will try to cover. Even though it's called as word count, don't take it lightly. It is quite. The concepts which will be covered here will come handy in many ways. So stay focused and understand whatever I'm trying to do. Okay. So first we will try to develop the word count using REPL. So this is how you actually go ahead with the development lifecycle. First, you should actually get the functionality tested using REPL. And you should not use huge amounts of data to validate the functionality. Keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so here I'm coming out of the lab. And I'm launching Spark Shell locally. If you want to launch in standalone mode, well and good, you can also launch in standalone mode. For that, you have to start the master. I have covered this quite extensively earlier. So if you actually add sbin to your path, you will be able to run this startmaster.sh from anywhere. It will start your master. And then you can actually start slave. And for start slave, you have to give your IP address like this. This is your desktop name, and Spark is the protocol. I think you can also get this information by going to localhost 8080 after starting the master. Okay, that is the default port for your standalone master. Now the master and slave both are started. Now I can actually start Spark shell pointing to standalone clusters. Okay, so it's a three-step process. First, you need to start the master. Second, you have to start the slave. Then you have to start the Spark shell pointing to the standalone master, so that you actually launch the cluster in standalone cluster mode. Or you actually launch the Spark shell in standalone cluster mode. Okay, it will take a moment to get to launch it. Meanwhile, let me make an announcement for YouTube folks. Folks on YouTube, if you like the content, please click on the like button at any point in time. If you want to practice like the way I am demonstrating here, sign up to labs.itversity.com. You can actually see the plans over there. It's very economical. You can actually follow this content for free and practice over there. And if you have any questions at any point in time, go to discuss.itversity.com. and you can start raising the questions, and there are volunteers who will be answering to your questions. Okay, that being said, most likely the Spark shell is started. Okay, now let us first create the data set. Okay, so I have this directory called research data, where I have the word count program or word count file. Yeah. Okay, so this is the text. You can go to any wiki, get some few lines of text, and copy it to the file, and create something called wordcount.txt. Okay, and you can use this directory along with the file name as the path for your file. Okay, so val lines equal to sc.text file. Because I am trying to process the text data, I am using text file here. If it is not text data, you have to use the appropriate file. That is very important to understand which file system you should use. And then give the path, and then wordcount.txt. Give the fully qualified path, because here I have so many other files. I don't want to process everything. I can also give the directory name, but I want to explicitly say the file name so that it will not touch any of these files. Okay, files or directories. And now the RDD is created. So the variable for RDD is created. Because it is lazy evaluation, it will not be evaluated immediately. So first and foremost thing you need to do is preview the data either by using first or take off 5 or 10 and see the few records as output, so that whatever path you have passed here, you will confirm that it is correct. Otherwise, if you wait until the last minute, it will be very tough for you guys to troubleshoot the issues. So until you are comfortable with the environment, try to preview after each and every step. Okay, and don't use these steps which are used for the preview as part of your code, which will be going to the final program. Okay, now, yeah, it is not mandatory. No, lab, you should not do that. You should not execute the master and slave scripts. But development should be done only in the in your PC. You should not develop on the lab directly. Means theoretically you can, but it will not give the complete development life cycle. Development lifecycle includes developing the code on your PC, perform the testing on your PC, and then build the jar file on your PC, ship the jar file to the cluster, and then deploy on the cluster. That will complete the development and deployment lifecycle. Also, as part of the development lifecycle, we will have checking into the code, reviewing the code, and all those things. I will not be covering those things. Okay, so all these things, development and building the jar file should be done on your PC. You should not do it on the lab or on the production cluster. Consider the lab as the production cluster for now. I missed one question from Bala Morlik. Let me take that question. Can we also use group by here and define the same product ID by which it should group and use the flat map as however we are leaving key? Yeah. I think so. Can we also use group by here and define the same product ID? Yeah, I think your question is, can we actually ignore the key as part of the function? Yeah, you can actually say function, when you define the function, you can actually define the parameter type. I think it's in this window only, so let me go here. So if you want, you can also define this rec as iterable of string only. You don't need to create it as tuple. If you only say it as iterable of string, when you invoke the function, you have to say rec._2, and that's it. You don't need to worry about handling with the key. You can ignore the key while invoking the function itself. I hope that is the question, Bala. If I understand your question, if I misunderstand your question, let me know. I will stand corrected. Okay. Okay, so I hope I answered your question also, Somalia. Okay, so now you get the data like this. I want to split this record, and I want to tag one to each of the words, so that the ones can be counted later to get the word count. So the problem statement of word count is within the text data we are trying to process. For each word, we want to see how many times it is repeated in the file. Okay. So for that, first we need to do the row level transformations. Here we have to do two row level transformations. One is flat map, and the other one is map. Flat map, to flatten out this line into multiple records, and each record will be word. Okay, so I have to say val lines flat map equal to lines dot flat map. Okay, and I'm naming the parameter as line dot split. This is the delimiter. Okay, and if you want to trim anything as part of this, if you want to trim, let's say there is a word like this, which is in circular brackets. So there is one word bundle and there is another word bundle with circular brackets. Those two words will be treated differently. If you want to treat those two things as same, then we have to do the processing on the records also. So as part of the flat map, after splitting, probably you might have to add additional transformation. At the time of map, you might have to add additional transformations as well. Similarly, if you want to ignore the case to perform the word count, you can actually say as part of the map. So let us do that. So with flat map, we are just using space as delimiter and splitting the data. You can use regular expressions. You can make it as functional as possible. Once the flat map is done, we can say lines map. Okay, and here for each, actually, I should have named it as words. When I say instead of lines flat map, I should have named this as words. That's fine. So here I will just say W equal to lines flat map dot map, and here we are getting one word at a time. Okay, so let us say I just want to ignore the case. Here I can say two lower or two upper, whatever way you want to convert. Okay, let's say two lower. Each word will be now converted to lowercase, and then I also want to tag one like this so that I can actually perform the count later. Okay. Okay, two lower is not the function. So let us. The best way is to use. That's the beauty of REPL. Okay, you will immediately know if something doesn't work, or you can actually look at the preview also, and then you can actually generate the appropriate code first, and then try to use it as part of the main lines, main code snippets. So here, s equal to, let's say, hello world, and then I can say s dot tab, and you can see the available functions here. Okay, the function name is two lowercase. Now I can say two lowercase here and hit enter. Now you got the RDD. You can actually preview the data lines flat map dot take of 10 dot for each println. This is after splitting each line and converting into records. You can see here, and then w dot take of 10 dot for each println and hit enter. Now you can see the data is all in small letters, lowercase, because we have ignored the case. So far, you can actually say lines.count to see how many records are there in our input data. There are 9 records. After flattening, using flat map, you can get the count. So definitely with flat map, we will return either one or more record. After using to flat map, the number of records will be definitely equal or higher. And with map, you will not be filtering any data. So whatever input is passed to the map, the number of output records are also same. So in this case, if I say w.count, it is 119 records. Okay. Now using w dot, I'm creating a variable called dot. Okay, it is stuck again. So just wait for a moment. So you should be able to see val r equal to. Okay. Now it is back. W dot reduce by key. I can also use count by key. Okay, there is an action called count by key. I think I have not covered quite extensively as part of the actions. You can also use count by key. Count by key is an action. It's not a transformation. If it is an action, it will actually create an array. Okay, you can use count by key here. You can see it has created a collection, a Scala collection, which is of type map. You can see here. So you got the key and long for the value to give the word count. You can say r dot for each println. Okay, count by key is a action, not a transformation. So once you use count by key, you don't need to use collect. If you use reduce by key, you have to use collect. Count by key is only to get the count of the records. Apart from that, you will not be able to use for any other scenario. Whereas reduce by key is a transformation where you can use it for sum, average, min, max, and many other things. Okay, that's the difference between count by key and reduce by key. For word count, you can either use count by key or reduce by key to get the final output. Okay, now once you process the data, you have to save it to the file. Okay, and before saving the file, you might want quite often you don't want to save like this. Okay, it has to be word tab count or something, some delimiter such as comma or colon or tab. Definitely, you don't want to put everything in the circular brackets. The reason why it is displaying like this is because these are all tuples. The two-string function of tuple will be look like this. That's why it is showing like this. So if you want to apply transformations, what you can do is you can R is already word count, array of word count. Okay. So as part of the for each, while println, you can say this println. Okay, I have to give the variable name here. So rect implies println rect dot underscore one plus, let's say I want to put that tab as delimiter, plus rect dot underscore two, and hit enter. Now you see data is tab separated. Okay, this is how you want to save it to the file. Okay, and now if you see, R is not RDD, it is a collection. So if I want to save the collection into an file system, there is no API directly here. So you should not convert into RDD. First of all, you should not use count by key for this case. Okay, you just have to use reduce by key, which will give you the RDD, and then you can directly save that RDD to the file system. You should not do this business of converting RDD into an array and then again convert array into the RDD to save into the file system. It is not very efficient. Okay, count by key is a handy function only to deal with the smaller data set. Even to count, you typically should use reduce by key only. Okay, now after explaining all these things, let me write this program once again. Okay, so I'm actually reading the lines from ITversity research data word count.txt. Okay, and then val words equal to lines dot flat map. Okay, line dot split space, and I'm also applying map here. Okay, word is the parameter name, and then I want to say word dot to lower case comma 1. Okay, that is the after map, and then word count equal to words dot reduce by key. I can say like this. Okay, and also after that I want to convert it into tab separated so that I can save into a file. So here I'm saying map again, because for each input record which is of type tuple, I want to convert it into tab separated text. Okay, so I can say rect dot underscore one plus tab plus rect dot underscore two. Okay, now you have the word count already. For now, word count dot take off 10 dot for each println, and you can see the data. Okay, so the question from Balamurali is, can we actually convert the this into tuples? I think that is the question. The answer is yes, you can convert. It's not, but it is not very straightforward. For example, if I say words equal to, let me give w equal to lines dot flat map. Okay. Now, what rect dot split will give? It will give an array. Okay. And to convert into a tuple, rect dot split is an array. To convert into a tuple, for each input record, we have to convert into a tuple. So what you can do, you have to say map. This map is Scala map, because rect dot split is an array. So this map is a map on array. This is not a map on RDD. Okay, and then you can say rect implies rect comma 1. and hit enter. I think I have to give one more bracket. Now you can see take off 10 for each println, and you can see the data. Also, you can apply whatever transformation you want. So as long as you understand what is happening, you will get the right ideas to implement. Okay, so here rec.split is converting an array, and I want to flatten it out. I am using flat map, but your requirement is converting that simple array into a transformed array. So I can apply map function and I can apply the transformations on each of the records. So here, what I'm trying to do is, let's say there is a list of strings like hello world, how are you. Okay. Now I want to convert it into tuples. What I can do map, and then I can say rect comma 1. Now it's a array of tuples. From array of strings, I convert into array of tuples. Same is the case here. I have done the same thing here. So you can do. So whether you do it this way or you do it flat map and then map, internally Spark will make those necessary adjustments and make sure it is executed with optimal performance. That's why I did not cover this. Performance wise, I don't think there will be any difference as per my understanding. Okay, even if you see the execution flow afterwards, no matter you use flat map and map on RDDs or map within flat map, Scala map within flat map, the performance will be same. Okay. Good question, Bala. That being said, now we got the word count. We have to save this to file. So what we can do, word count dot, and you can see save as text file. Okay, and we can give the path. Users IT Varsity research data word count 01. It got stuck, it seems. It is back. Okay, it is back. So now you can go to data directory and you can see the word count 01 here. cd word count 01 ls-ltr cat path, and you can see the data. Okay, so this is the end-to-end implementation using REPL. Now using this code, we want to develop using IntelliJ. That's what we will do typically. So I'm opening IntelliJ here. Okay. So I'll be deleting this. Okay, actually, yeah. So if you see, I don't need to delete this. Now I want to develop using IntelliJ. I have already covered how to create Spark Conf, Spark Context when I explain these things. So when you actually use IntelliJ or SBT console or Spark Submit to submit the job, etc., there won't be already available Spark Context and Spark Configuration. You have to create those things first. Then only we'll be able to do anything else. So here I have set the app name to word count. master to local. For now, I will be running locally, and then I want to run on this port 56721. Okay, and then val sc equal to new Spark context of conf to actually create the Spark context object using this configuration. Now I want to pass the input path as argument. Input path and output path are should be typically passed as arguments or properties. They should never be hard coded. So let's say we will pass the input path as first argument and output path as second argument. Okay. So here I will be using input. Let me 1 minute. Let me use the same names what I have used already. Okay, it's input path and output path. Okay, input path equal to outs of 0, val output path equal to outs of 1. Okay, I'm going to read the data from this path, process the data, and write the data to this path. Okay, so here I can directly copy paste this code. Okay, so here I'm using underscore notation. If you want to give the names, you can give the names also. Whatever I have explained earlier using Spark shell, I have pasted that thing. Only difference is the parameter. I didn't use the parameter names. I think I have given the example for. Okay, no, I don't. I did not give the example with names here. But typically, I don't prefer using this underscore notation. It doesn't save much of your time, and at times it can make your program a bit complicated. If you want to give the names, you can just say, in this case, line implies line, and then word implies word, and then total comma word implies total plus word. Yeah. Okay, you can actually give the names to the parameters. If you are comfortable, you can ignore. But I typically don't ignore the parameter names. And then finally, I am pasting to the output path. Once you add this, first you need to validate using IntelliJ, then you have to build into jar file. The way you should validate is here we have to pass two parameters. So if I directly run this like this, it will say array out of bound exception because we are trying to process this as part of our program. See here, it is saying array index out of bounds exception, line number 17. Okay, here. Because args of 0 we haven't passed. So how to pass? We have to go to run, go to edit configurations. Okay, and make sure your main class is selected. In this case, it's word count. It is selected. If it is not selected, you have to create a new application by clicking on this application, give the name to it, choose the main class which you want to invoke, and then you can take the whatever steps I'm going to take now. After naming, the main thing is program arguments. You have to pass the arguments. So here, the path is users, IT varsity, research, data, word count, txt, and also output path. So this will be here we are actually passing two parameters space separated. Okay, those will be converted into array of strings internally by the compiler. You don't need to worry about it. You just have to give the names space separated. Sorry, arguments space separated. Users, IT Varsity, research, data, word count 02. So by default, if you do not handle the directories, the output path always have to be the unique directory. It should not already exist. Okay, it will create the directory and then it will copy the data. Already I have used word count and word count 01, hence I am using word count 02 here. And make sure your class path is set. If your class path is not set, it will not work. Your class path has to set to your application. And your working directory also have to be selected. Sometimes it will not be selected by default. So you need to make sure your working directory and your class path for your module is also appropriate. Most 90% it will get automatically. If not, if you just click on this, you will have only your application. So there is not much confusion over there. And then click on apply, OK. And now you can say run word count. So now there are no exceptions. You can go here and you can actually go to this parent directory and you can see word count 02 here. Okay. And then cd word count 02 ls-ltr. You can see the data. Okay, so if you see there is a difference in size. Okay, the reason, okay, their directories. Okay, actually we should focus on the file sizes. It's 761, this file size, and here it has created two files, so it's almost same. 751. This is 751, and here it created with 761. I don't know why there is 10 bytes different, but anyway, it's almost close, so we don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, and now what we have to do is we need to typically when we actually process the data from input path, also when we try to save it to the output directory, we have to perform certain validations on the directories. If you don't perform certain validations, then your program will not be complete. One of the checks is whether the input path exists or not. If it does not exist, you have to write an exception and come out of the program. Whether the output path exists or not. If the output directory exists in this case, either you have to create a unique output directory or you have to delete and create with whatever name you want to create. Okay, so you need to take care of these things. And also, here I have a hard-coded to run my program locally. But when I deploy in the cluster, I want to run in the cluster mode. I don't want to run in the local mode. Okay, so I want to handle this also. I want to automate my program. I want to control the execution of my program either in local mode or in AR mode. When I try to run it locally, if I pass the parameter as dev, it should run in local mode. When I pass the parameter as prod for the execution mode, it should run in the AR mode. That is my criteria. For that, what we will do, we will actually use, we will try to externalize that in the, yeah, we have to use the combination of argument and also we have to externalize the parameters. Okay, for that, as we have already done, we will try to use type-safe config. Okay. Already as part of the Scala, when we develop the JDBC application, we have used this type-safe config, right? So here I have added dev.execution mode equal to local and prod.execution mode equal to AR client. So when I pass a third argument to the program as dev, it should run in the local mode. And when I pass it as prod, it should run in the yarn mode. Okay. So first we will take care of this. So for that, what we need to do, we need to make sure as part of the build.sbt, the type-safe config plugin is added, dependency is added. We have already added as part of our Scala effort for the same project. And also we need to use application.properties, and we have to add these two lines to it. Okay. And then go to the word count program. First thing you need to do is you have to import com.typesafe.config._. We are trying to import everything. Okay. And then I want to read the properties by saying config factory dot load. Okay. So it will automatically load the application properties, and then we will be able to read the properties. Here, instead of hard coding to local, what I want to do is I want to say props dot get config, because we have dev dot and we have many properties under dev dot. So all the sub properties under dev here, I want to create a sub configuration. So that's why I'm using props.getConfig. So what that props.getConfig will have is host, port, DB, user, PW, and execution mode. All these things will be part of that the collection, which will be returned by using getConfig function. Okay. So now if I go to the word count program, so this getConfig is type of array, a special type of array, and then one minute, getConfig. Here I have to pass the string on which I want to get the sub properties, and then I want to get the string execution mode. Okay, so this one will return all the sub properties of dev, and this one will actually give the specific property, which is dev.execution mode. But this dev has to be argument. You cannot hard code like this, dev or prod. Hence, I will try to change it to args of 2. Okay. Now our program takes one more parameter, dev or prod, depending upon where we are running. So that we can change by going here, edit configurations, and then apart from input path and output path, I can say dev here and click on OK and then run. So if I pass it as dev, it will run in local mode. When I deploy it on production, I can pass it as prod and it will run in the yarn mode, because I have specified yarn client for the prod.execution mode. It will fail because the directory already exists. Further, we will improve this program to handle the paths more gracefully. You can see here, file already exists exception because that word count 02 already exists. So I want to delete the directory and recreate that directory in case the directory exists. If the input directory does not exist, I just want to discard and I don't want to do it any further processing. Okay. So as I have explained earlier, when it comes to file system, it uses HDFS APIs. So if you want to deal with those directories, you need to have some knowledge about HDFS APIs. Okay. So for that, first we need to, as it is already part of CodeSpark, we don't need to add dependency as part of build.sbt. We can directly say import arg.apache.hadoop dot blah blah blah. I think fs, yeah, here fs dot underscore. Okay, and first we need to understand what all APIs available here. If you copy this one and go to the browser and search for this one, you will get to the official documentation of this. Click on frames, you will get the index here. And we are talking about FS. So you can see there are a bunch of subclasses. Um, One of the main class in FS is file system, and then there are a bunch of other classes also. On top of these things, there are many other things like path, etc. So you need to be familiar with these things to handle the file system as part of your programs. I will cover a simple case and I will pass on. I will not be able to cover everything with respect to HDFS APIs. So here we need to use file system and path to do the validations and all those things. Okay. So first to use the file system, what we have to do is we have to get the Hadoop configuration. Okay, so you can actually say val fs equal to fc dot Hadoop configuration. Okay. Anyway, we are almost at the end. We will continue this tomorrow. It is also stuck, it seems. So we will continue this tomorrow. I don't want to stop in the middle. It will take around 15-20 minutes to explain. So I will take Q&A now, and we will catch up tomorrow. We will first try to handle the directories, and probably around 15-20 minutes we'll be done with this. And then we will actually focus on few more, then we actually have to deploy on the cluster, and we have to understand the execution flow. Now we are only focusing on development lifecycle. We also have to focus on execution lifecycle on the cluster, and we will be processing 30 GB data, and we will see how it behaves. Okay, so I think tomorrow's session, at least 1 hour, will go in that. And then after tomorrow's session, we have 4 more sessions. Okay, as part of those 4 sessions, we will primarily focus on data frames and Spark SQL, because they are more important. And there is other topics which are not that important, but you should have knowledge of. The more Spark concepts and core APIs. I will recommend you guys to go through these things, and if you have any questions at any point in time, you can ask. Okay. So now I will take few questions. You can ask any question. Those who are on WebEx, and we will continue tomorrow about dealing with the file systems. Yes, this will be definitely covered. Spark SQL, data frames, different file formats. Starting from, if not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 4 classes is more than enough. And I will be covering all the important aspects of data frames, Spark SQLs, and all the different file formats which will be able to use with the data frames, like ORC, Avro, Parquet, all these things will be covered. Any other question? Yeah, so when it comes to CCA 175, all file formats are important. Whatever is documented, Avro, Parquet, ORC, all of them are important. So, and also you need to understand compression codecs. So I will be explaining compression codecs also as part of these 4 or 5 sessions, starting from day after tomorrow. Okay, any other questions from MS students? She is asking, can Spark JDBC be used as a data integration tool? Very good question. Yes, people tend to use Spark JDBC. So the beauty of Spark is you can use one programming language, and you have flexibility to do whatever you want. You can use core Spark APIs to perform the transformations. You can use Spark SQL to connect to Hive and get the data. You can also use Spark JDBC to connect to the remote databases and get the data. I will try to demonstrate with one simple example. So I will try to demonstrate one simple example. Does that mean load to MySQL from Hive? No, that is not the case. Spark JDBC is to only read the data from there. There should be something to write also. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't done any writing from Hive into MySQL database. Typically, you don't write data back to relational databases, um, but most likely there should be a connector which will be able to write data back to MySQL also. I never done that though. Yeah, that's what Spark JDBC data integration means, even reading the data from MySQL. And Spark JDBC have the feature of reading the data from MySQL. Writing I haven't done. Probably it is possible, but I haven't done. Typically, we will try to. So, if you think about Amazon, right? The transactional data will be in the relational database like Oracle. You will get the data from there. You will also get data from weblogs. You will process the data. Once the processing is done, the data will be stored back to DynamoDB, which is a NoSQL database rather than relational database. So that is more likely scenario than writing data back to relational database. Okay. So in that case, uh, Spark supports many databases. You can write directly to Cassandra, you can write directly to HBase, etc. To answer your question precisely with respect to MySQL, there should be a way, but I haven't explored yet. No, no, that is not possible. Probably you might have to write two separate programs to process the data and connect to two different databases as part of the same SQL. That is not possible. Within one SQL, you cannot connect to two DBs. Even in conventional technologies, it is never possible. Okay, so Somalia is saying IntelliJ could not run the code. So what is the issue, Somalia? So I can make you presenter. And you can share the screen and you can show me what is the issue. Are you there? I think you haven't accepted it yet. Hello, Somalia. Yeah, I can see your messages. Yeah, now you can share your screen. I make you the presenter. Yeah, you did not put the dot after word count. Set app name, word count dot. That is the problem. Set app name, word count dot. Yeah, you have to save it. That's it. I cannot hear you. You are barely audible. I think you have to increase your volume. Still, you are barely audible. One minute. I think I need to. Can you hear me? Can you talk now? No, no, you are barely audible. I think something is wrong on your side. Anyway, you can. No, no, I don't have any issue seeing your screen, but you are barely audible. Your voice is not audible at all. You can type your question if you want. Or if you already have a discussed topic, you can paste the link and I will take care of it. I will have a look at it. Hello? Have you raised any discussed topic? Okay. I don't know. You need to give a try because the way you have developed was incorrect. So you need to be a bit more careful and make sure you put there are no typos. You put the dots while invoking the functions and all. If you run into any issues, you can actually you can hello. Okay, 1 minute. There is some background noise. I muted everyone. So let's take it offline, Somalia. So she is asking, can we run any Unix commands using SQL or Hive context? I don't. There might be a way, but I'm not 100% sure. I think. Let me see. I do not understand. What do you mean by can we run any Unix commands using SQL or Hive context? Are you talking about from Spark perspective, or what are you talking about? Hello, Sri. You can unmute yourself and ask the question, Sri. I could not get your question completely. No, I don't know why you want to do that. From Spark shell, yes, there is a way to run the commands, but as part of the programs, definitely there will be a way to do that. But you will be using only in very extreme scenarios. It is not typical to use ls or find. Any programming language supports that, running the operating system commands. There will be definite APS definitely for that. It is nothing to do with Spark. It should be the feature of the programming language. Scala, Python, Java, all of these have the capabilities to run OS level commands. I have never done that with Scala, so I don't know how to do that, but definitely there will be APIs. Okay, with respect to Spark, Hive context and SQL context are part of Spark context, and it is nothing to do with the programming language. It is only an additional feature or set of APIs to run SQL queries or Hive queries. It is not to run any Linux commands. It is nothing to do with Spark. Running Linux commands is nothing to do with Spark. And also, if you think about it, Spark APIs are runs in distributed mode. And even if they provide features such as ls and find as part of the Spark APIs, it doesn't mean anything because on which cluster it has to run those, on which node in the cluster it has to run those commands. So it is not relevant to use ls or find type of commands in Spark APIs. If you think from the programming language perspective, definitely there will be a way. Bala is making a statement. Maybe if you are thinking of processing few files in a directory with a naming convention in Spark, yeah, for that we have to use Hadoop file API. That is correct, Bala. So she is saying sending email after sending data. So sending email is, again, there will be APIs within programming language which you can use to integrate with SMTP and send the emails. You don't need to use another technology to do that. That's the beauty of programming languages like Scala, Python, or Java. You can do all those things. You can integrate with external mail servers also. You can do whatever you want using programming language. Don't try to mix up shell scripting with the programming languages. So shell scripting comes handy, like monitoring the log files behind the hood and deleting those things in timely manner, sending reports if the file system is full. At that time, shell scripting comes handy. But from the application development perspective, if you are using Scala or Python or Java as programming language, you should use API is related to them only to do whatever you want. In this case, if you want to deal with file system, you have to understand the HDFS APIs and you have to use those things. If you want to run Linux commands for some reason, you should be able to figure out, you should be able to do that using Scala itself as programming language. If you want to send emails using Scala, you can actually integrate with any SMTP based APIs and you can send emails. Okay. On top of HDFS file system, we also have Scala.io.source, which will provide APIs such as from file, etc., to read data from files and all. Okay, definitely there will be file handling features within Scala as well. You can leverage those things if you want to do any customization on your as part of your file processing. Okay, it should be programming language driven. That's why I have emphasized a lot on the programming language. Within 30 hours, we will not be able to cover Scala itself as a programming language. As and when it is required, you have to dig deeper and you have to figure it out. Okay. So that being said, thank you very much for joining the session. I will be wrapping up. And those who are on YouTube, thank you very much for joining the session. If you like this video, please click on the like button. If you want to provide the feedback, please use the comment section of the video. And if you if you need environment to practice, definitely you can go to labs.itversity.com and you can enroll for the lab. If you have any questions, you can actually go to discuss.itversity.com and you can start logging the questions. And if you want to provide the feedback, once the video is streamed, you can actually give the feedback as part of the comment section of the video. That being said, thank you. Bye.